Gary Gensler also spoke before the Senate Banking Committee earlier today. We'll go through the most important parts of his testimony in this video. Finally, Gary Gensler tackles some difficult questions. I'm going to cover everything in this video and also talk about something that has been puzzling the XRP community for a while, which is how XLM and XRP differ today in XLM releases. And in this video, I'd like to go over the distinctions between XRP and XLM in depth. Continue reading to the end to find out more. If this sounds like something you'd be interested in, make sure to watch this new video right now. Hello and welcome to our channel, where we discuss the newest XRP news and the cryptocurrency world in general. If you are watching one of our videos for the first time, we will gladly offer you a special greeting. We encourage you to enable notifications so you never miss any video. We are pleased to announce that this channel is hosting a 200 XRP giveaway. To be eligible to participate, simply subscribe to the channel, like this video, and comment with the hashtag XRP. On September 15, the winner will be announced. And explain why so many people were upset by this announcement. Many people, in my opinion, compare these two assets incorrectly. Please stick around for that. I'd like to begin this video by briefly discussing a topic that has recently received a lot of attention in the XRP community. While I don't have any profound ideas about it, I believe it's a topic worth discussing because it's engaging and popular, and that is whether or not banks will hold assets like XRP for the future now. Many knowledgeable members of our society assert that Ripple is completely backed by banks. Banks will not store or use XRP, and I'd just like to explain why I disagree. This is my perspective. First and foremost, given that Ripple is already partnering with central banks all over the world, I find it impossible to understand the narrative that they will never be successful. In reality, XRP is close to 20%. Of the world's central banks, which are currently partnering with Ripple or speaking with them, I get the impression that they are collaborating with banks, and banks interested in using the XRP ledger personally believe that they will use a private version of the XRP ledger that eventually connects to the public ledger, regardless of whether they use a public or private version of the XRP ledger. We'll have to wait and see how that goes. If this happens, the question is whether banks will keep XRP as well. If they are using the private network, they will most likely have some incentive to keep XRP. Many individuals, in my opinion, are now wondering why banks would hold this asset. They don't want to keep volatile assets since they are risk-averse and may be mistaken about what banks supply new enterprises with highly risky loans, and many young businesses fail despite these assets. Aren't liquid, they're unquestionably dangerous and volatile. Another point I'd like to make is that banks will want exposure to many of the really exciting options we'll have in the future to generate yield with these digital assets. Consider the idea of owning XRP and collecting a 3% dividend each year. Banks that currently rely solely on treasuries for yield may find this of significant interest. I believe that banks will grasp this chance in a big way, and once they can finally get a legal yield from these protocols, they will need to keep a lot of these digital assets and use them to capitalize on these opportunities. Perhaps not even the conventional banks we are familiar with today are taking advantage of these opportunities. It is possible that some will and some will not, but I am convinced that the next generation of banks that will arise will. Over the next few years, I plan to preserve and use digital assets to help produce yield and return for their clients in general. I just think it's a stretch to say that banks would never handle or use XRP. I believe that banks all over the world are already actively using private ledgers, and as David Schwartz frequently stated, should begin by giving them access to a walled garden or a protected private ledger when they are ready to eventually participate in the actual activity, the Internet of Value, the primary public. The XRP ledger will have no borders or walls. So even if these banks and institutions first build these silos, I believe that everything eventually returns to the open XRP ledger. I'd also like to speak about Gary Gensler's Senate Banking Committee testimony, and those of you expecting a great surprise here, something in which senators questioned Gary Gensler in response to his harsh stance on Bitcoin were disappointed. Let me just say that right now, Burger. Gary Gensler usually responds the same way to questions about Bitcoin that he is repeatedly asked. Furthermore, there is no genuine pressure. When the Republicans win control of Congress, members of the Senate, or Congress Tom Emmer, and many other Republicans predicted that things would change forever. But what we are seeing is that they are effectively treating Gary Gensler in the same manner as the Democrats, in that he receives only routine inquiries and is never truly summoned, and we are simply not making any progress. Gary Gensler's only true opponent at the SEC is the courts, and he is free to act. Whatever he wants, don't anticipate Congress or the Senate to put any serious pressure on Gary Gensler. It will most likely be free to behave however he wishes unless the legal system intervenes, and the courts are now doing an excellent job of halting it. They have been the situation's savior and the key source of information. I brought this up because many people have a strong sense of faith. They're both being so nice to Gary Gensler at the end of a certain political party in one form or another. I wanted to share the video of John Deere on this topic, since I believe he has hit the nail on the head. Take note that Congress and the Senate can limit Gary Gensler. I've reached a breaking point, and I know you have too. Since enough with the letters, gentlemen, it's time to issue congressional subpoenas when they are not obeyed after receiving a court order. To send the marshal to the region and begin summoning people before the committee. I'm not sure why, but it's unusual. For this reason, I despise both Democrats and Republicans equally. We wouldn't go that far if there were some sort of unstated standard, but we won't enact any kind of change. Instead, we'll write letters, give lectures, and employ rhetoric. It's fitting that the American economy now has a cancer named Gary. Gensler is a cancer of innovation, and as SEC chairman, he is not acting alone. They are driving the conflict, and it is necessary to remove him from that scenario by insisting on adequate oversight. In essence, John Deaton makes some solid arguments there, in my opinion. Gary Gensler is now receiving solely softballs. As a result of his work with FTX, he received countless letters, but he ignored them. I will not respond to them. Therefore, I doubt Gary Gensler will be vulnerable to pressure unless he receives a subpoena that you must follow. Everything appears to be a ruse to gain more adherents from that wing. In the end, we saw Democrats applying comparable pressure to Gary Gensler while they control the House. As a result, I agree with John Deaton that it appears that both of these political parties are giving Gary Gensler unfettered reign, which is a significant disappointment for me, but as I have stated, I'm just delighted the courts are doing their job. As I end up this video, I'd like to go through the distinctions between Stellar and the XRP ledger. Stellar has been teasing a major announcement that has been announced over the past few weeks and will take place this week. Why do I make this public first whenever Ripple makes a substantial statement, when the majority of what they did was change their website? A central bank is usually involved. CBDC's big new partner or anything tangible leveraging the XRP ledger. Stellar's website is altering as a result of a major announcement. This is not to belittle Stellar or XLM. In fact, XLM is a very good blockchain. It is fast and effective, and it has many applications. So, what are the key distinctions between XLM and XRP? First and foremost, it is not institutions. Retail, there is no scenario in which retail will only use XL and build on it because, eventually, we see that this is not happening. The majority of the community is focused on the XRP ledger, where the majority of retail is being built, and there isn't much of an X element. Community, because XLM isn't being used for any projects. The idea that XLMs are better for retail than XRP for institutional is effectively debunked. The most important point, though, is that I want to draw attention to the fact that Ripple is a for-profit firm. Their purpose for creating the XRP ledger technology is that it is the most commonly used technology. Is economic. They want to greatly boost the value of XRP for financial gain to make the program the most significant software in the world. They are motivated by financial gain. Because the X Element Foundation and even XLM are not listed on their financial sheet, they simply do not have the same desire to support innovation. This is a major concern for me. Many people regard Ripple as evil since it sells XRP, generates money, and travels to the finest institutions in the world to push its software. Is this, however, Spur's invention? Capitalism has always existed. The world's most significant and profitable businesses are created as. As a result of this, simply put, XLM and Stellar aren't known for their originality, and as a response, they are making a huge announcement by revamping their website. I only have a small amount of XLM for my usage, and I doubt I'll ever make another. Please buy more XRP, but the main reason I'm sharing this is because I'm aware that many people confuse XLM for a retail version of XRP. Simply consider the development's final location. Little is going on at XLM. Everything is going on the XRP ledger, and they are also making a big announcement. These are simple characteristics that bother me and make me wary of the initiative of continuing forward by changing their website. I simply do not see how they could outperform the XRP ledger. Gentlemen, time will tell. I genuinely appreciate your being here, and I hope you found this update enjoyable. Please remember to like and subscribe if you did.